This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
I never usually do this, but I guess the next few days, luckily maybe it just be Friday and Monday, but it's going to get so damn hot. I figured I probably better do the weather. Don't you think?
Yes.
Let people know that it's going to be about 90 and sunny. Man, it is not. It's so funny because Catherine leaves yesterday for Orlando. It's the exact same temperature in Orlando as it is here.
Shouldn't have to pack any differently then.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly it. Well, they're saying now it's only going to get up to 87, but it's going to be humid as hell too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like yesterday. It was like in the high 70s, but it felt like it was closer to 90 or whatever.
It did.
So deceptive.
So here you go. You got 87 and humid today, 91 tomorrow, 90 on Sunday. It's going to be sunny, thank God for that. But 86 on Monday. And then when Catherine gets back, of course, 78. Jesus, Palomino. Why can't we all live that life, the Catherine Brandt life? That's what I'd like to know. Right?
Right. She's very blessed.
That's what I keep telling her. Doesn't listen to me, but he got so lucky it was unbelievable. Think she's ever going to buy that?
No. But I like that you wait till she's in Orlando before you start talking.
Well, you get a podcast anywhere. You can pick up podcasts anywhere in the world. So, No, I know what you're saying. It's just, what are you going to do? But in any case, anything new? I don't spend a lot of time on. I did not watch the Biden appearance on national TV yesterday. Did you guys hear anything about it? I know you didn't watch it because nobody watched it.
No, I didn't watch it. I saw a few headlines where they're saying, "Oh, it's clear that the end of his presidency is nearing," and it doesn't sound like he's to anybody has really looked great.
I saw a couple highlights online, and two of the biggest gaffes, and I'm sure Chris actually made me look out for it because Chris Egert he tweeted "oof" or something like that, and I was like, "What is this in regards to?" Oh wait, that's right, the Biden conference is going on right now. But I saw one clip of he was introducing the Ukrainian president Zelensky, and he goes, "And here he is, President Putin." Oh, I mean the guy that's going to actually defeat Putin, President Zelensky. Hey, give it up.
And who else did he misidentify?
And then he was saying something along the lines of, "I wouldn't have picked her if I didn't think that at some point she could be the next president of the United States, vice president, Donald Trump." Everybody's like, "What?"
Vice President Donald Trump.
It's like, "Oh no, Kamala Harris."
So you've seen the same things that I saw because I don't watch that stuff either way.
Those were the biggest two. And granted, I don't think people are going to clip and put out him speaking super cognitively and fluently. That's not a main highlight, but for making a couple gaffes, that's those are pretty important.
Well, they're pretty big ones.
Yeah, especially when it's like, don't call the guy that's currently just being at war the wrong president, and then you got to know who your vice president is. You
know what I would have done if I were him, though?
Mm-hmm.
If he said, "Now here he is, President Putin." It's like, how'd you know? I'm a lot taller than Putin.
Yeah.
Isn't Putin like 5'3" or something?
I think he's like 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, is he that tall?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look like it. He must have some big bodyguards then, man, because they're a lot bigger than he is.
They build him big over in Russia.
So how's he doing with is he the world's, because they said he was going to be the world's first trillionaire.
Putin?
Yeah. Because he takes all the money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
don't know how all that works. And maybe it does the Russian, what is it called? The Russian franc? Is that what it's called? Or am I?
Ooh, that sounds right.
I don't know what the Russian dollar is.
Franc? I have no idea.
I think franc is Europe. But I don't know what their dollar is. But I thought that was on the decline. So I don't know.
Oh, the ruble.
The ruble. Thank you.
Oh, rubles. There you go.
Ruble.
That's the old time money. It's rubles, isn't it?
How many rubles for a bottle of vodka?
Vodka. God, I love those things. Once in a while on TV, you see these drinking contests in Russia.
Oh.
And they bring out gallon bottles instead of quarts like everywhere else they do.
You mean a casual Saturday afternoon?
Yep.
Those people can drink, man. I'm not kidding you. Holy Hannah. They get after it. Well, God bless them. Happy, make them happy. Good for them. I just, I had fun back in the day when I used to drink. I think sometimes other people didn't, but I did.
But vodka is just a whole nother level.
I can't do it.
Burning sensation.
Yeah.
I can't. straight vodka. No, thank you.
I've never understood why people like vodka.
No.
See, I love a good, and I'm gonna next Friday. My cousin's getting married, and my staple wedding drink is the vodka cranberry.
Okay.
Like, they
Oh,
go
is
down,
it?
yeah, they taste good. They're usually pretty cheap if it's a cash bar.
Yeah, because that's true. Chris, cranberry is very powerful flavor, so it would cover up that vodka weirdness. I've never liked whiskey or vodka and that stuff anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've never liked it. First of all, it makes me nuts. I don't know what it is. Beer, I could drink beer like there's no tomorrow. It doesn't bother me at all. If I go to hard liquor, holy Hannah.
Yeah, the people that can like pour, a shot of whiskey over the rocks and just drink that. I don't like. To me, that doesn't taste very good.
Although there are some scotches where I'm like, okay, you can pour it and sip it because it tastes phenomenal. But if you have to spend the requisite amount of money to make it taste better, but if you're just like, you know what, give me that E&J brandy or the whatever that comes in a plastic bottle, it's not going to taste that great.
See, I don't think I've ever tried good enough scotch to where I need nothing else with it.
God, it is. You're right. Scotch is probably the best hard liquor. I would think that's probably true. Some of the other stuff. I mean, like peppermint schnapps. The only problem with that is my wife tells a story about her dad because her dad used to hit her pretty good. Well, he's a very successful businessman, so you're always taking clients out to drink. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems you got.
Yep.
You're going to go out with clients. They're going to want to drink, and they're going to want you to drink with them.
Yep.
But apparently one time he was drinking peppermint schnapps with his client and he had a lot of it, came home, apparently hurled, and then took his clothes, which had hurl all over them, tried to throw them down the clothes chute. Only he didn't do it right. They landed on the furnace. So the whole house smelled like burning peppermint. With vomit mixed in.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
I guess that must have smelled really, really good, don't you think?
Yep.
Yeah, Don stopped drinking a long time ago. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
The
your
pinky
newly
ring.
added jewelry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you believe that his ring finger was that big?
Oh, that was his ring finger?
Yeah. I mean, my God. So his ring finger is the size of my pinky.
Like how big?
And for the people not maybe watching on YouTube, what is it that you're holding up there?
It's a diamond ring that I got from my father-in-law. I don't know if it's real or not. He probably, here, give this one to Tom. It's probably
the carbonite.
He's like, Catherine, you're going to want to take all the good stuff.
That's just a given anyway. But no, it was very nice of him. I'm like, I tried to put the ring on. Honest to God, here's me. So, this is and I'm in front of two of his sons, one of his daughter, all the in-laws, all this. Like, what an honor it is to. That's not going to work, is it? I tried to shove her on there. That ain't happening. There's no question about it.
The pinky ring looks good though.
But I've already heard 3 times. What are you in the mafia?
Because
it's a pinky ring.
If I sat down like a blackjack table or like a craps table and I saw you sitting there next to me, I'd be like, all right, I must be at the high roller.
Yes,
table.
like Tom's just sitting there smoking a cigar, quoting Scarface and The Godfather.
Oh God, I do that anyway. I'm sorry. I love mobster movies. I always have, and I guess I always will. No question about it. We do have to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. I think President Putin is going to do the sports, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, fresh off one of those Russian yachts with a couple oligarchs behind him.
Yeah, there you go. How can you say here he is, President Putin, and not be nuts? Look, I'm not telling you. You vote who you want to vote for. I think most politicians are filthy scum, so it doesn't really matter to me who you vote for. I think one of you guys said it was Harry Truman yesterday that said, "Show me a politician with money, and I'll show you a crook." And he was right. All those years ago, he was right. But I don't know. It just. You can't say things like introducing the president of Ukraine as President Putin. It's not a good move.
What happens when he does that at some important meeting?
Right.
And now we're in whatever issues we're going to have because he can't remember who he's talking to.
What do you think? Do you guys have any idea? I have no clue what the hell's going to happen with the presidency. Not an idea.
It's like watching, and I just experienced this with like the NHL wrapping up. The playoffs are fun, and it's fun when like the Wild are in it.
Yeah,
but nothing is more fun than a game 7 like we had, when none of the teams that I really care about are involved. And I sort of wish that was the same thing for this election, where on the outside it might be fun to watch and an entertainment. Now that we are getting closer to the actual election, I'm like, oh boy, we are actually doing this, huh?
Yeah, I mean, honest to God, you're talking August, September, October. We got about 3.5 months. Yeah, it is about 3.5 months now. And they're going to elect a new president, and no one other than the far left and the far right are going to be excited about this. Mm-hmm. There was a car in front of me this morning because I made a couple of moves. Well, I went to that post office over on 55. So I was on 55, and there was a woman in front of me. I have no idea what color her car is because she had so many political stickers on it, you couldn't see the actual color of the car. I mean, she must have had 50. She's all over Biden and this and that and the other thing. Why do you tip people off as to what political guy you like anyway? I've never understood that. Because somebody's going to come one of these days and bash your windshield out with a hammer just because of who you like. I mean, it's not just Putin, it's Trump too, obviously. But
yeah,
I've never understood dressing your car up with all these bumper stickers. The only one I've ever liked, and I never got it because, first of all, Catherine wouldn't let me. It was in the Stars and the Stripes, and the bumper just said, F-U-C-K. That's all it said. So I don't know what that meant.
Well, the good news is that she's gone for 5 days. So if there's ever been a time for you to go get that bumper sticker, it's right now.
But how are you going to get it off? That's the problem.
That's a problem for future Tom.
Yep.
That you would think they'd peel right off, but apparently they don't.
No, they're strong.
Mm-hmm. What the hell is that all about? Bumper stickers. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. Talk some sports, like I said, with President Zelensky. Or somebody. I don't know who else it's going to be. K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lina Lakes is my choice. You know what? Should I read this like a radio disc jockey does it now? Because I've noticed in all the markets they're doing this now. K&L Surplus and Ammo. It's your buddy here, Tommy B, in Lina Lakes. I love Lina Lakes. I mean, what is that now? Drives me nuts. I would not buy something just because you're reading the commercial like that. What?
It's the I love Lino Lakes line.
Well, Jesus, it's just, my God.
Like the way that you said it, you went up in dictation.
Oh, you have to. Hey, you know, the one thing that's really wrong. I was like, oh God, whatever. K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lina Lakes is my choice for firearms and ammunition. Jim, the owner, is one of the most knowledgeable people in the business. Good guy, too. And has a great selection of all brands like Benelli, Tikka, Beretta, SKB, the whole shooting match. Get it? Shooting match? Anyway, I know hunting season's a ways off, but if you're thinking about getting something new for the upcoming season, now is actually a great time to start looking. The advances in rifle and shotgun technology over the last few years is amazing. If you're using something that's more than 10 years old, you might be missing out on better performance and better results. If there's anyone that can help you get the right gun for hunting this fall, it's Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes. It's open Tuesday through Sunday. Go out there and see him. He's a great guy. Call him. And again, I don't say that unless I really believe it. I hate those guys. Oh, he's a wonderful guy. Well, he's a pedophile, but other than that, you know, some of these commercials. No, but actually, Jim is a great guy. Call them at 763-757-2614. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Before I do this next commercial, I got to tell you, I was talking to Jim. Jim Paul's been my friend for like 40 some years. known Jim forever. There was a guy named Craig Weiss that was one of the most brilliant commercial writers. Do you ever hear? You've heard that name, Craig Weiss?
Oh, just the last name, but
yeah,
probably from you, yeah.
But he, honest to God, when Craig got a cocktail or two in him, speaking of having cocktails, when he got a cocktail, he could run his mouth to anybody. And I wasn't there, but I heard the great story that Jim, Paul, and Craig were sitting at a bar in Key West, and Craig starts insulting these three guys. The three guys turn out to be Navy SEALs. So now one of them gets to the point he's all pissed off. So Jim Paul goes, well, Craig can't fight this guy. I'm going to have to go out in the parking lot. I'm going to have him on the show and finish that story. Jim Paul is a dear, like I said, dear friend, just a great guy. And I want him to come on and tell you that story because he was going to take on a Navy SEAL to protect his friend. I mean, that's a pretty good friend, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much walking to his death for you.
Pretty much, exactly. Let's take a second to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you, like Bilski and me. Well, a lot has changed since 1998. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com, stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And now please let me introduce one of the great sports guys of all time, Phil Olinsky.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, everyone. Yes, it's great to be here this morning on the Howard Stern Show.
Yes, no question about it. Does he still have a show? He's on what, Sirius XM or something?
Yeah, he took a bag like 20 years ago to just go to Sirius XM, and that's pretty much what he's been doing for 20 years.
20 years already?
I think it was like 2005.
You know, he still
early
won't
2000s.
talk to me. After all these years, he still won't talk to me.
Yeah, he came in hot there. He came in hot, tried to take over Minneapolis, but
it didn't work.
No.
But you'd think he'd be a decent guy about it. I mean, Howard, for Christ's sake, let's go.
Yeah, if it, because that was kind of the model, right? He would, these top 20 markets would syndicate his show, and then he'd come in and do a big number, and you stood your ground, your audience responded, and I don't know how many other top 15 markets punched him back in the way that you and the audience did back
Not
in the day.
one. There was not another market that did it. Well, they did things like in Philadelphia, I can't remember the guy's name. Howard comes into the market, so to draw attention to himself, he's going to have like those little, not really, I don't know what the hell they are. Kazoo. That's
kazoo.
Yeah. Kazoo. He had a kazoo parade. Like what? Why would you do that to try to drive out Howard? I don't get it.
Like during a live, what do you mean? Like during a live broadcast or something?
I guess in the morning show, they did a kazoo parade, and I don't know how that works on the radio because no one can see you. But
we should do, instead of an election, we should do a kazoo parade. I think that's something that all of America can get behind, right?
Yep, America, the red, white, and kazoo. Yeah.
Oh, see, he's already working on the slogan. We've been working together for too long. No doubt about that. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? It's just, I didn't watch the speech last night because first of all, like I said, I think politicians are filthy scum. So, why bother? I still, to this day, don't know why anybody gets so involved with someone they don't even know. Oh, I love that guy. You don't even know him. I mean, you maybe love the image of that person or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I mostly just follow on social media, so I only see the horrific clips that come across of the wrong name being said a couple times. It really feels like we're all sitting in a, like, what are those Teslas called? The self-driving vehicles.
Oh yeah,
and it's like the four of us are sitting in a self-driving vehicle with the rest of America, and we can see that the self-driving vehicle has kind of gone off the GPS. It's careening over onto the shoulder, and we're all looking at each other like, this feels wrong, right? Like it's going the wrong way. Yep. It's about to run into a tree up there. Maybe someone should grab the wheel and do something different. That's what it feels like to me right now.
I guess. I mean, we're going to have a president one way or another. And to tell you the truth, I go deep on both parties and I can't find a person I'd be excited about.
Isn't that crazy? And by the way, America feels the same way. I mean, if there's a reason why we're headed toward voting for one of these two, because neither party feels great about the bench, to make a sports analogy.
I just can't think of anyone that I'd be, like I said, I think Tulsi Gabbard would probably be a good choice because he's a Democrat that's pretty conservative. I mean, that kind of moves toward the people in the middle, which is about probably 70% of the United States. I don't know. I don't know Tulsi Gabbard, or I've never even talked to her. I mean, that's one of the problems that I do have, that I actually do know Donald Trump. And, I've had lunch with him when he was the president, which was quite an honor. I mean, I don't care who the president is. If they invite you to lunch and you're having lunch with the president of the United States, it's a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen the movie from 2006, Idiocracy?
Oh God, I love that movie.
Doesn't it feel like that movie was prophetic in a lot of ways? Well, or didn't they like elect a professional wrestler as the president? I mean, 2 years ago, there was legitimate discussion about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, potentially running for president, right?
That's all we need.
I love The Rock, but...
yeah. I know exactly what you said. In that movie, didn't they try to grow vegetables by spraying Coca-Cola on them?
Yeah. Tom, we're not that far away. We're not that
we
far
are not.
And they'd be sweeter, obviously.
If they'd be sweeter vegetables, obviously, then that's exactly their argument. No, that was a terrific movie. That was... you said what, 20 years ago?
Yeah, almost 20 years ago. Yeah, Maya Rudolph, Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
A weirdly star-studded cast for what that movie.
It was Dak Shepard, Terry Crews. Wasn't he the Office linebacker guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A hell of a movie. Idiocracy. Fantastic. Go spray some Coca-Cola on the plants and see if they taste sweeter. That's pretty damn funny, actually. Had no Twins game last night because they had played the doubleheader, split a doubleheader with Chicago, had the day off yesterday. Now where are they now?
Yeah, so we got the All-Star break coming up after
that's right.
the weekend here. So they'll play 4 games in San Francisco, one of the most beautiful ballparks in all of America, the Splash Landings. And then they get 5 or 6 days off. Milwaukee and Philadelphia coming to town, but yeah, they're sitting here, man. They're 13 games over 500. They've got one of the best lineups in baseball. Royce Lewis, barely plays, but when he does, maybe it's like the second best lineup in baseball. Brooks Lee has come up. He was I think he was their number 1 or number 2 ranked prospect, depending on which publication. And he's hitting like 400 in his first 8 games. So,
and isn't he like 20 years old or something?
I think he's 22. I want to say
22. There you go.
23.
Yep. Oh, he's 23.
Yeah. And by the way, he hit a home run the other night in Chicago off of his best friend and roommate throughout his younger years of baseball. So they both kind of came up together and they were facing each other, and they both got the best of each other in different moments in that game. But he hits a home run off his best friend. Wouldn't that'd be great bragging rights for the next few years?
No doubt about it. That would be wonderful. No question. But yeah, the Twins are. We were talking to Judd about this yesterday. That team sucked at the beginning of the year, and I don't know if it was the Italian that brought them around or what the hell happened. But they're a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I feel like you and Judd shouldn't be allowed to talk Twins until like June together, because you guys just like commiserate, and it's like the first 5 games of the year and you both want everyone fired and cut from the team. And
very true.
Like, we should almost keep you guys apart for like the first 6 weeks of the season so you can't just feed off each other's negativity.
I think the Twins lost like 4 spring training games in a row, and it was time to sell the team, trade everybody away.
Get them out of town. Get away from me.
Well, it's funny. Judd wanted, so Carlos Santana, he's the 38-year-old veteran first baseman. And, it's like, when you're 38 and you're playing in a cold weather city, your bones are a little brittle. You're not going to start hitting on April 6th. You got to give these guys some time. And Judd was full frontal for like a week on the SKOR Twins show. Like, get this carcass out of here. It's a terrible signing.
That's why I love the guy. He's a good man.
He's like 3rd on the team in home runs now. Just patience.
I've never been a good guy with patience. Patience is not one of the things that I possess. There's no doubt about it.
That's okay.
Well, again, let me give you an example. I on the way into work today, I went to buy some postage stamps because we're moving, so I can't find any stamps. I know I got about 5 rolls, but I don't know where the hell they are. So I went to buy some more. I put the card in. The machine doesn't work. How do you, as a United States post office, have machinery that doesn't work?
Yeah, this opens up a whole new discussion too about the postage stamp system. Feels a little antiquated to me. You got to go to a machine and then print out some adhesive stickers, and it's just a lot of work, man. I'd rather just not send the mail that I'm trying to send and just deal with the ramifications.
We were just talking about my father-in-law giving me he died a short time ago. Well, it's almost a year ago now, but he left me a ring that was his ring finger ring. It only fits on my pinky, which is kind of weird. But he also, for some reason, he included a packet of stamps from I don't know what year it was, but they were 1 cent stamps. And you could put them on in an envelope and mail it out. 1 cent stamps. Today, you would need 68 of those to mail a letter.
Yeah. So wait, how does that work? So here's a dumb question. Let's say you bought a bunch of stamps 80 years ago.
Yes.
Whatever they were 80 years ago. Wow. 5 cent stamps or 2 cent stamps.
Right. Yeah.
So at the time, it was you just needed 1 stamp that was 4 cents, right?
Yes.
So if I still have a 4 cent stamp from decades ago, I don't get to ride the inflation and just put the 1 stamp on. I'd have to put several of them on.
And one of the reasons they do that, I was told by a guy who knows a lot about the post office, they work it out that way. So they sell these holiday stamps. And let's say back in the day, they were 40 cents or something like that. Well, now, because it's 68 cents, if you got those, you have to put 2 of them on. So instead of 68 cents, you're spending 80 cents.
Right. Okay.
What a scam.
What if the price of stamps goes down a little bit?
Yeah,
and I have a more expensive stamp. Do I cut it in half?
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Cut it in 2/3.
Right.
They got the magnifying glass. I don't know, Bob. Looks
I removed the little frills from around the edges because it went down a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, God. Unbelievable. But true. Just the way the world is. But I cannot believe you'd have to put 68 of those stamps on a letter to mail it. There would be, you couldn't write where it's going. There'd be no room to write
just
where the
leave a small little window. You could put some on the backside, right? You could put them all over.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
Yeah, I have a question for you, actually, Tom. So,
yes.
You've met Declan a couple times on the show. Our executive producer at SKOR. Yes, all capital letters, executive. So he's getting married tomorrow.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
What's the
guy getting married?
Name?
What's Bob?
Bob.
So
Declan and Declan. I like it.
Declan and Kelsey getting married tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd love to know from you, in case he happens to tune in here during his honeymoon, maybe next week, on demand, TomBarnardShow.com. What is your number one piece of advice for a newly married couple?
Let's see. That was 40 years ago for me. As a matter of fact, we just celebrated our 40th anniversary on Sunday, July 7th. It was a piece of advice. I would say for Catherine and me, because we're both 2 very strong personalities, don't start butting heads right away. That's not a good idea. In other words, if she makes a decision, kind of go with it, because if you go against it, nothing's ever going to work ever again. I'll make some decisions. You make some decisions. We'll meet in the middle. Yeah, let it work both ways. That's the number one thing I would say. Look, I'm a bad guy to ask about getting married because I know and I do understand, and I hear it from listeners on a daily basis, that Catherine is far too good for me. I do know that. That's just a given. But yeah, try to meet in the middle on some stuff most of the stuff's not important anyway.
Yeah, you don't need to win every battle.
No, that's a very good way to put it. Yeah, you do not need to win every battle. I mean, so basically, when I do that kind of thing, at the end of the night, this beautiful woman comes over, gives me a hug and a kiss, and wishes me a good night. Instead of going, get the hell out.
Yeah.
To the couch with you.
To the couch with you, pal.
It's great advice.
No, I'm very, very, very lucky. And I said, look, I mean, I'm like every other guy. I met Catherine when I was 28 years old. I think I was, maybe even 29. I think I was 29. And I met her, and I was not the most popular dating guy in North Minneapolis. Let me put it that way. I wasn't, leading the pack or anything like that.
You weren't the prime bachelor.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. But a weird thing about that, I have an old friend. Her name is Ellen Burnick. I went to St. Anne's Parish with her, St. Anne's School in North Minneapolis. Beautiful woman, there's no question. And I did not know this until about 2 years ago. So this is now, 38 years. And I talked to Ellen once in a while, about once a year. Ellen and I talked because we were really good friends. But I was always just mad about her. She's stunningly beautiful. And I didn't know this, but I was handed a couple of pictures. She and Catherine could be twins, for Christ's sake. I mean, that was
wow, so you have a type.
I have a type. Yeah, apparently I do have a type.
Yeah.
That's far too good for me. Those are the types that I have right there. Hey, I see that a lot with women, though. Women, they're really stunning women with some guys like, what the hell are you doing with him?
Yeah, there's a lot of relationships that give us hope. You know what?
Exactly.
It's because looks aren't even a top 3 consideration. If you can fake some confidence, crack a joke, if you're not broke, I feel like there's a few other things that oddly enough are higher up for them, the priority list.
It's funny. The
Basic
only
hygiene.
time was that
Basic hygiene.
Oh,
Basic
that's good.
hygiene.
Yeah, that would be good. Wash the sack. That's a good plan. No doubt about it. What? I was talking about washing the sack. You put your clothes in that kind of sack.
Oh, okay.
But
clarifying.
Both.
Handle both, by the way, if you're writing this down.
Do it both. You're
Not mutually
absolutely
exclusive.
But I got to be honest with you. Phil, you just opened a window for me here. You opened a door for me. I didn't even realize this, but almost everybody I knew as a kid ended up divorced. I didn't even realize that until right now.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, they say like 50% divorce rate, something like that over the last, generation.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
My family's the same way, man. Like my aunts, uncles, like, wife number, husband number 4, 5. It's crazy. My mom was married, 3 different times. Dad, 2, 3 different times. Yeah. The streak ends. The streak ends here, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Lineage.
Absolutely. My mother and father ended up, my mother, even though she couldn't stand my father, she didn't want to divorce him because she was an ardent Roman Catholic, right? She's a big time Catholic. So she didn't want to divorce him. But I think finally, when she realized he could have starred in A Beautiful Mind instead of the other guy because he was that nuts, she finally agreed to divorce him. She did not want to, as crazy as he was. I mean, he was institutionalized for mental illness.
That's the best part about Catholics. I grew up very, very much Irish Catholic family.
Oh,
and,
God, yeah.
You'd rather just like grit your teeth and live a miserable existence than admit that you were wrong.
You're 100% right.
I saw a meme on the internet that like, would you rather, if you walk into the wrong room, would you rather just turn around and walk out or stay in the wrong room for the rest of your life? Catholics would rather just stay in the wrong room for the rest of their life.
In general, yeah. There's no doubt about that. All right, Pally. Well, we'll talk to you again on Monday.
You got it, guys. All right. Good talk here today.
Thanks, Phil. Phil Mackey, ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North with the sports. Take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert's got about, 35 seconds worth of time left to do the news?
About that, but I want to talk about this shirt that I see.
Okay. Which one?
Sorry, I'm the only one that can see him, but he's got one heck of a shirt on.
Oh, Egert does?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to find out right after this. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert. He should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market, the economy. He knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. I'm excited because, Fridays Josh comes in and gives a little bit of advice, and I hope we talk about Kinky Friedman and the Texas Jew Boys again today because we're both into it. Kinky died a couple of weeks ago, so we're very upset. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you talk to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock, clearance, and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM. And you get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98, and take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses, mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything's on sale, as a matter of fact. From the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM. And you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5, because I'm not looking at his shirt yet. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Okay, I'm going to drop my hand down now. I cannot see the shirt yet, but here we go. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Are you going to wear that on air?
Yeah, why not?
What are you trying to paint something and got a little carried away?
Honestly, I'm in a really horse-ass mood, but I thought if I put the shirt on, it might trick somebody into thinking I've got that Friday feeling.
Why are you in a bad mood?
My kid got sucker punched in the bar last night.
Oh, my God. Where are we going?
All age club, by the way, because he's 19. My daughter's down in a tournament in Louisville that we're playing basketball, and she hurt her ankle. I just found out, so she's not. I don't know if she's going to play the rest of the tournament. So everything's going to crap today.
Well, Catherine's out of town, so I'm right there with you.
Sorry, man.
Picking on your shirt. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, look at my shirt.
Look at your shirt. It's very joyful. I have a question for you. Do you have any good friends?
Yeah, well, I think so.
Do you? Okay. Because there are a couple of guys that might be in Studio B here in the building. You want us to go to the bar and straighten things out?
Yeah.
Well, I think if the playing field was level, he would have very easily straightened things out himself. He's 6'6", 300 pounds.
Oh, my God.
I was going to say, is this the lineman son that we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't with other football players. He was with regular size people. And they were at a dance thing, and some pushing happened apparently. And he was just trying to he was basically blocking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he's like, just, hey, everybody just calm down, pushing back, whatever. And thought it was done. And then whatever. And then didn't even see it. The guy just came up, he turned and just boom, cracked him. So, yeah.
So I have a question. Was the guy who sucker punched him about the size of Gelfand?
I don't know. I didn't get a sense how big he was, but he definitely, yeah. Anyway,
Guarantee you he was not big.
No.
If you sucker punch someone, there's a reason that you sucker.
Well, that's what I said. Of
Yeah.
course, because he couldn't have fought fair because there's
right.
There's no way, but anyway.
You guys ever been sucker punched? It doesn't feel great.
I sucker punched once in 7th grade.
You did?
And broke my hand.
Oh, good.
Really?
God paid
karma.
you back.
Yep. I got what I deserved, and it was a stupid 7th grade thing to do, and good on karma for taking care of that.
Being punched in the face does not feel good. I got to be honest with you.
Nah, nose is crooked, chipped a tooth, so yeah. Hopefully, maybe it's going to cost me some money too. So yeah, it's great.
So his nose is broken and it chipped a tooth.
I don't know. It's bent. It's
well, if it's bent, it's going to have to be fixed.
Yeah.
I hate that sucker punching crap. I just hate it. But what are you going to do?
And I can't say, I don't know what the situation was. It was one of those, James Hype, I think is the name of the.
He was at the James Hype show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I hope it was a good show because James Hype is a hell of a DJ.
Yeah, he stayed for all of it, stopped bleeding, and whatever. Enough about that.
That's one thing you cannot hide, by the way. If you've ever, because I got sucker punched once many, many years ago, and you try to hide it, but you can't.
No.
So you're going to look like you got punched for about a week at least.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet this morning. I guess we'll all Seth when I get home. So
I have never sucker punched anyone. I got to be honest with you. I never.
You're not because you didn't. You're straight up. That was again one mistake I made. 7th grade. This guy it was the same thing. The guy was like a mountain of a dude. It was before I grew, and I was mad at him, and I went up on the playground, and broke the knuckle 3 places.
Ugh.
Shattered it.
God paid you back.
Yep.
Do you remember what you were mad about specifically with him?
I mean, we were playing some sport on the field, and it wasn't like kickball or tag, or I don't know what it was, but this guy was big, and I stupid.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, nothing. Hopefully, learn a lesson from it. That's what I told the lad last night. I'm like, well, hopefully he broke his hand or something.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully he got injured.
Well, if I ever find him, he's gonna die. So there's that. I'm like, well.
I'm glad we're talking about this today because I was just looking at the headlines. There's a bunch of stuff I wouldn't want to talk about. A friend of mine's got some financial problems. We got Tolkien renting a place up north for a week, a primer on being a good guest in Lake Country. How are you not what do you go around? What would you do in Lake Country to not be a good guest? That would be pretty severe, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Although I got to be honest with you, I won't say who the other guy was, but this is back when I was much younger. We went up to Lake Country, exactly where he's talking about, and there was this honey beer. I don't remember the name, but it was a honey beer, and it was incredibly good. So we kept ordering it, and there were 2 of us, my friend and me, and we kept ordering this beer because it was just delicious. And we put in another order, and he said, I don't have any more. I only had 2 cases and it's gone. We both
finished her off, eh? That's how you're not a good guest in Lake Country.
Yep. 24 beers a piece. But it did take at least an hour, I think. Maybe a little more than that. God, it was good beer. I don't remember the name.
Listen, when you're out and you're in beautiful countryside and you're out in nature and it's hot out, that beer tastes really good. Goes down real quick.
No question about it. I used to go 3 at a time, so I'd have 8 rounds of beer, but it was 24 beers because it was 3 at a time. Well, they go down quickly. You
don't want to wait for the waitress to get back or the bartender to come back over to you.
Beer tastes good.
I love it.
What do I need to tell you? Let me at least give you one story.
Okay.
Today since I went off, and I'm sorry, I apologize. It wasn't.
That's important information to know.
Let's see. They're talking about putting red light cameras back in the city of Minneapolis.
Good move.
Which they're saying it's to try to stop the crash deaths, particularly near schools. I always hesitate with that, because the flip side is I don't want it to turn into a cash grab. If it's
good point.
If it's set up for the right idea, to actually help the roads be safer, great. And if it's a deterrent, great. I just don't want it to turn into Iowa. Next thing we know, we're Iowa, right? Like where you're speeding through a little small town, and next thing you know, you got a fine because the robot camera captured you or whatever. First, so it's still sort of, they apparently have to have legislative approval to put the cameras up. So I guess it's in the process. So we'll see where that goes. But that was one of the stories we had today.
All right, Pally. Well, you're wearing that shirt on camera. Yeah, baby.
Fun guy.
Oh God, get in a better mood.
I look like one of the Golden Girls with this shirt on.
That's a good call. I like that.
Freaking B. Arthur.
Oh, I loved B. Arthur. She had an edge to her. I loved her.
Yes, she did. And that deadpan look, she did. Exactly. Whatever she do, God rest her soul.
It's true. So, all right, deliver the news with all the talent that you have.
I'll do my best. You guys have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend. Who was that again?
Isn't that the theme to the Golden Girls?
Yeah, but I don't know
who's got a drink.
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
God, I used to know, but I don't know anymore. So Chris, thank you for being a friend. That's all I have to say. Talk to you Monday.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. You know what's amazing about that is I understand exactly what he's talking about. I don't know what I would have done if somebody had ever sucker punched Andy. That would not have been good, man.
Yeah, the concert would have been abruptly halted as Tom Barnard is on stage.
Oh,
who touched him? We're going to come down here, and that guy's getting evicted from the concert.
That might be the last time I ever bring up somebody's shirt again, because that is not what I expected. I feel bad that we made him talk about that.
You ruined his day. Way to go.
I'm going to text him, say I'm sorry.
Way to go, you pill. Speaking of pills, Bob Sansevere is up next. I'm here talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, it seems like banking has changed quite a bit since you first opened your doors in 1998.
Yes and no. In 98, we didn't have online and mobile banking like we do today. Many banking processes have also changed. One thing that hasn't changed is we still provide a true community bank experience right here in the Twin Cities.
Our team takes the time to get to know our customers and their goals. This creates a relationship that is unique in banking today and one our customers appreciate. It's why we like to say we provide a better banking experience.
You're absolutely right, Brad. I've been a customer for a long time. The service your team provides is phenomenal.
Thanks, Tommy.
So why not bank with my banker, North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lina Lakes is my choice for firearms and ammunition. Jim, the owner, is one of the most knowledgeable people in the business and is great at getting you into the right firearm for your needs. We've talked about that before. You need the right firearm. Jim's a guy who can get it done for you. K&L Surplus and Ammo now carries Benelli shotguns that offer enhanced performance, amazing reliability for uses ranging from waterfowl hunting to skeet shooting and more. I highly encourage you to stop in, talk with Jim and the rest of the K&L Surplus crew. Between their superior knowledge of firearms, friendly customer service, overall stock, and fair pricing, I can't imagine a better location to purchase your next firearm. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in the Line of Lakes, open Tuesday through Saturday. You can reach them by phone at 763-757-2614, or you can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevere wearing his St. John's shirt because his son is a star athlete at that college.
A graduate, a star graduate.
He's graduated now.
Yep. Finance degree. He tells me, he says I'm overblowing it, but I'm not. They used to have an accounting/finance degree. He is the first and only, as of right now, there'll be many more, finance degree to come from St. John's, because they added that this past semester. And he stayed an extra, could have graduated in December, but stayed to get the finance degree.
Well, that's good. I mean, obviously Italians are really good at with other people's money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're good with the money. Not as good as Meyer Lansky, maybe, but they're good. You know,
Meyer Lansky was awfully good with money. You're absolutely right.
I saw a movie last week that, he was depicted in it. And it was, I think it was just called Lansky, which was pretty good if you ever saw it.
Oh, that was a good movie, yes.
Yeah, it really was. With Harvey
Don
Keitel.
Rickles. Did you ever hear the Don Rickles story about Lansky?
No.
True story. He's at the Fontainebleau in Miami, right out. Well, I guess it's outside of Miami. Maybe it's in Miami. I can't remember.
I think it's in Miami.
I think it is in Miami.
Or Miami Beach, the greatest audience in the world.
Yeah, for Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
Don Rickles is on stage. He's just about to really kick into his big act and all the rest of it. All of a sudden, the back doors of the auditorium open. And they thought, why would they open the back doors right at the beginning of my deal here? That was really stupid. But then as they brought the person up, he realized it was Meyer Lansky. So he goes, so let's stop the show for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Good friend of mine, Meyer Lansky. Come on up front here. As a matter of fact, would you guys separate those two tables, put a third table right there front and center for Mr. Lansky? So they bring the table, they bring a couple of chairs so he and Lansky and his buddy can sit down right in front of him. Do me a favor, will you? Tell you what, waiter, could you bring him a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne? I mean, I know it's expensive, but yeah, I got to do it. It's Meyer Lansky. He's got the best table in the house with his friend. He's got the best drink in the house. Why don't we just the trifecta? Meyer, go ahead and kill somebody.
Oh my God. Did Meyer laugh?
Apparently he did. Yes. Thank God for Don Rickles. He did laugh.
Did the rest of the audience laugh?
I don't think so. I don't think they did. That's a pair of seeds right there to say that to Meyer Lansky.
Probably not the table next to him. Nobody there laughed.
Oh no. God, Don, I miss Don Rickles. He was brilliant. He was. So what's going on, Sandy?
Well, I wanted to mention, your Twins 4.5 out going into the All-Star break, right? That's
pretty
coming
good.
up here.
Yep.
And they won their last game. Now, I wanted to mention though, this happened yesterday. Monty Kiffin died. Do you remember Monty
Kiffin? Yes.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's dad, and he was with the Vikings as an assistant coach, 14 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was the defensive coordinator when they won their Super Bowl with Brad Johnson at QB. Great defense. He was a terrific defensive coach. He's followed his kid around more than the last decade or so. For him, I'm hoping I could do that, Tom.
Yes, not a bad plan.
Because I know what you're doing your arm there like that. Because I'm
just doing that. I don't know why. Kind of stretch.
Look at you, Mr. Stretch.
See that?
Show offs.
Oh, the only problem is your muscle gets in the way. When it's got some size to it. So yeah,
I hear you. Anyway, Monty Kiffin. He'd worked with his son a while, and Monty was great. He was one of my favorite assistant coaches or coaches with the Vikings, and he and Denny did not get along. Him and Denny Green. Denny fired him, and there were times Vikings play on like a Sunday night or Sunday, even a day game, 2 or 3 in the morning. My phone would ring. It'd be Monty, just to talk about, basically to laugh that Denny lost. And I haven't told that because I figured, I don't want to upset Monty, but I can only upset him from the beyond. But he wouldn't be upset. He doesn't care or didn't care. But
I have a question for you, Bob.
Yeah.
I met Denny Green like 3 times. Was he as big a prick to other people as he was to me?
Tom, I never had a good relationship with him because it was always bad because I was the the first media member who basically was negative or critical of him because of what he did to Tom Batta and John Michaels, took them to the Senior Bowl, let them grade all these players at those positions, fired them there, and sent them home on a plane.
God.
Why not? Okay, why not let them stay? And if anything, you fire them back there, because I know there is turnover, but it's the way he handled it.
I know.
But he didn't think they were good enough to be his assistants, but he wanted all the information they had to give him.
Yeah. Who was it over at the Q that did a great impression of Denny Green? Was that Passolt? I can't remember.
It might have been. If it wasn't you, it would have been Passolt. Well, Denny. No, it would have been Tony, would it?
No.
It wasn't Tony?
No, I don't think
so. It had to be Passolt then.
Pass. I miss Pass. He never comes to Minnesota anymore. He's got a cabin in Wisconsin. He lives in Florida.
Oh, so when he comes up, he goes to the cabin.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's been a great friend forever. But so Monty Kiffin died. What was he, like, late
84?
70s? Oh, he's 84?
Yeah, I was surprised too. I didn't think he was 84.
He's a pretty big guy, wasn't he?
He was 6'2", probably. One of the best things about him too, he and Keith Millard had a screaming match on the field.
Oh God.
Do you remember what happened then? I don't know that Tevin would know, or AJ.
Nope.
They reenacted like a fight on top of the they used to have Gage Hall, and it was 4 or 5 stories high.
Yep.
You could see them the start of the afternoon practice. They're up there screaming at each other, and you could see from the field the two of them almost on the edge of the of the roof. Then they step away, you can't see him. The next thing you see is Monty Kiffin's body flying off the roof. They dressed up a mannequin or a dummy to look just like Monty. And the players,
that's funny.
I mean, initially everyone's like, I knew about it because we were warned, because they wanted to get the media, photographers and TV people to film it, which it's there somewhere. But that was hilarious. But that's the kind of guy he was. He would go in for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Every player you talked about, Monty Kiffin, they adored the guy.
Yep.
Just a good coach and a good guy. So there is that.
No question about it. What else you got, man? How about the Twins? You liking the Twins?
Well, I mean, here's what I like. And it's you hear managers say it, and this time it's actually true. Rocco, if he hasn't already, he'll be talking about it's a good problem to have when Royce Lewis comes back. They are loaded with offensive players. And I mean, I think what he'll probably do, he could put Lewis in the outfield or put him at first base. What an infield they'd have. I mean, you don't want to get Castro out of the lineup. He's your leadoff guy, and he's been doing okay. But Brooks Lee cannot go down. No,
you're right. No, got it.
Miranda has been terrific at your DH, and it's just, I mean, it's formidable is too strong a term right now, but by the end of the season, that offense, that lineup, the batters could be formidable.
Could you do me a favor and tell Carlos Santana to change his name? Because all I can think of is the great bands. He was Santana. It was a great band.
I'll work on that. But you know what about Santana? He's the guy that's going to probably wind up on the bench, but that's fine. If Royce, and by the way, I have to catch myself every time that I don't say Royce White.
Oh yeah, right.
Royce Lewis is with the Twins. Royce White is somehow thinking he's going to well, you know what? He's like a sacrificial lamb. He's running against Amy Klobuchar, who is, she's formidable. No Republican can knock her out. So especially him.
I really miss her old man. When he used to drink like a fish, he'd call me up and start yelling at me about 3 times a week. Jim Klobuchar is a writer for the Star Tribune.
Well, here he's gone. I'll give you a story about him. He did a lot of bicycling, right? He was one of these guys.
Yep.
And a coworker of mine was going to the end of the bike race, a few miles away, maybe a mile from the ending. And Jim had fallen off his bike. It was on the side of the road.
Uh-oh.
So he asked if he wanted to, no, it had to be more than a mile. It was much more. He asked if he wanted him to just drive him back. He said, no, take me within a mile of the ending and I'll pedal in.
That's a good call.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he wanted everyone to think, that was a little Rosie Ruiz on the bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you two guys know that, Tevin and AJ, who Rosie Ruiz was?
Was it the New York Marathon or was it the Boston Marathon?
That New York.
Yeah, where she like came out of a coffee shop or a taxi or something. And
she didn't even go on. And the guy who ran there, they were going nuts because she didn't sweat. There was not a bead of sweat on her. Nobody had seen her the entire race, and suddenly they gave her, all the trophies and the win, and then they obviously took it back from her when they realized what was going on. But I remember the guy, little old guy who ran the race he was apoplectic because he knew that she had to walk in somewhere. It'd be so easy to do, but also spray some water on yourself to make it look like you're sweating a little.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
So.
All right, Sandy, we'll have a great weekend. We got any plans for the weekend?
Yes, I'm going to watch, thanks to Mike Bryant told me it opened. I'm going to watch Vikings Valhalla, which is the new season is out on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And I will be tomorrow. I will be at the Hamel Rodeo.
The Hamel Rodeo.
Phenomenal. It's the Buffalo Rodeo and the Hamel Rodeo are, to me, two of the best. And then there's one that's going to be a week later at Canterbury Park. Extreme Events MN is putting that on. A guy named Ted Slather does a great job. And the Dorweilers, they put on, they're the ones behind Rowdy and his father, Shorty. They put on the Hamel Rodeo and do a phenomenal job with it. So if you're looking for a rodeo, look that one up. All right, Tom, you guys, Tevin, AJ, have yourself a hell of a weekend. I'm going to go convalesce. We'll see you later.
What
are you pointing out? What's he pointing at?
We both saluted you at the same time.
And that was like a nonverbal.
One of these?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, AJ, you're military material with that salute.
Sandy. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
Bob Sansevere, ladies and gentlemen. Take a break. Tim Lammer's up next. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM, you get free shipping on your entire order. You get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you can get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And this, wearing a black shirt so he could look devilish, is Tim Lammers. Tim Lammers brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers, seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Wouldn't red be more appropriate if I wanted to look devilish?
That's probably true, yes.
I always like red up here.
Yeah, there you go. I always like black sweatshirts, though, man. I love that.
I am told by the fashion people in my life that black is more slimming, and God knows I need that because
slimming.
That's why it's 70%
right down here, baby.
The black clothing. The black clothing, ladies and gentlemen.
The man in black, Johnny Cash, baby.
Okay, Timmy, I need your help because Catherine is out of town for the next 4 days.
Okay.
So I need stuff to go home and watch tonight or in tomorrow night and Sunday night and Monday,
Well, you're putting a lot of pressure on me there, Tommy. I'll have to text you with all of that. I can just tell you that in theaters right now, man. I mean, if you like horror movies, hey, get Alex to go out to a horror movie with you.
She's with Catherine.
Oh, man. Well, go by yourself then. Go by yourself.
Yeah, because Andy he didn't like that stuff.
Yeah, because really, there's the horror movies is out right now. It's just amazing how they're all just hitting it out of the park.
No, what's out right now?
Well, last week, there was a movie called Maxine. That's MAXXXINE, which is part of a trilogy, a horror film trilogy. It's more of an independent thing, but it's really become a phenomenon. And so that came out. But this week, as you know, I mean, even though I can swear, I don't like to swear because you don't want to get in the habit of that when you're live. But the batshit crazy Nicolas Cage is one of the best actors I've ever seen.
I agree. I love that guy.
Yeah, I see AJ is pumped, man, because he is pumped to see this new movie called Long Legs.
Tim, this movie has been on my radar for so long. They've had one of the best advertisement engagements I've seen in a long time for a film. There's so much behind the curtain still that I don't know, but I feel like I know more than a lot of people about it. They've released and teased these images, and people didn't know Nick Cage was in this for the longest time. And they put out a advertisement that had the heartbeat of the main actress Micah Monroe, where the first time seeing Nick Cage in his full on-scene makeup shot 100 beats per minute up higher than normally.
It's 170 or something.
I cannot wait to see this. I hope you have good things to tell me about.
What's the name of it?
Long Legs.
Long Legs.
Legs. Okay. And
so you're right. The marketing has been fantastic, and I did avoid the trailer for this one, with the exception of that clip, that minute-long clip of how this woman's heartbeat just goes as she's approaching to seeing Nick Cage in character the first time, because the film itself, they've kept Cage out of the marketing materials, right? His character is a complete mystery. You see him from behind, you see this long, white, kind of stringy hair. But let me get to the plot of it first, then I will describe Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
So it takes place in the 1990s. Micah Monroe, she was in this movie called It Follows, and if I can remember,
right,
Tommy, you didn't like that one. You thought it didn't go anywhere for a long time. Basically, people became infected with something. It was like an STD.
Right.
So, but that's really what put her on the radar. And surprisingly, I mean, she's been in a few films, but not really risen to the level of stardom that I think she should have. And I think she definitely will after this. She plays an FBI agent, special agent, name is Lee Harker. Very intense, very quiet, very intuitive agent who's put on this case of Long Legs, played by Nicolas Cage, who for 30 years has eluded authorities. He's a serial killer. He worships the devil. He practices in the occult, and he uses all of these dastardly tools to commit these heinous crimes where essentially entire families end up murdered in a very bloody fashion.
Man.
So the only thing he leaves behind, no evidence ever, but he has these letters with little cryptic symbols on them, and then he signs them Long Legs. So she's like a symbologist. She can decipher these messages, which brings them closer to solving the case. And of course, the revelation that somehow she is tied into this guy's past. That's as far as I will go. In short, I will say that this movie definitely has the Silence of the Lambs vibes all over the place. And it's not a Silence of the Lambs ripoff. It's just one of those one of those thrillers like Silence of the Lambs that made your heart go boom, 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 boom. I mean, it is so intense from the get-go, where we meet Nicolas Cage's character, only half of his face. That's the whole thing. I mean, they're so brilliant.
Really?
And yeah, you only see the bottom half of his face, but he's wearing like white makeup and he's got red lipstick on, and he's Nicolas Cage. And, you know, he's kind of like, in a way, remember at that Blackbird? Paul Walter Hauser, where, you know, he had the voice like this the whole time. And just so creepy. Okay, but Cage breaks out in the weird ass song and everything. I will describe this character because you do eventually see him. It takes a good 45 minutes, but once he's in it to win it. He's in the whole thing. I will describe the character as a cross between Heath Ledger's Joker, Tiny Tim. Yes, that's right. I said Tiny Tim. Tiptoe through the tulips. And Nicolas Cage at his batshit crazy best.
Right.
I mean, we've kind of come to expect these roles from this guy, but he is just so far, in a way, he's a head and shoulders above anybody else who can play a villain. I mean, you know, it's just, he just brings this weirdness to these roles, and he knows it. You know, he's just not afraid to go for it. I mean, that's a big risk for an actor, even somebody who's been around as long as him, because nobody wants to be embarrassed in this business. But he isn't afraid, and he goes for it, and he wins. He wins big. I mean, he is so freaking unnerving in this movie. And again, just out of the blue, he'll start singing just out of tune. And I mean, you know, imagine Paul Walter Hauser, you know, he talks like this, but all of a sudden you're singing. I mean, it's just like, where did this insane stuff come from? I'll tell you where it came from. The writer and director, his name is Osgood Perkins. He is the son of the late Anthony Perkins.
Oh, really?
Who, of course, played Norman Bates in Psycho. This crazy ass stuff is in this guy's blood, man. This guy knows how to make a movie. And it feels like a 70s movie, although it's set in the 90s. But you got Blair Underwood in the thing, Alicia Witt. I'm sure you would know her if you've seen her. She's terrific. I mean, just a terrific cast, top to bottom. Micah Monroe is the main character, but Nicolas Cage, obviously, every time he's on screen, he's a force of nature. I mean, I just don't know what else to say. I mean, the guy is just so brilliant. And, you know, what I loved about what he's been doing over the last couple of decades is he marches to his own beat. He's not in a lot of studio films. It's mostly independent stuff. He just does what he wants to do. He's not worried about what people think of him. In fact, he doesn't have a publicist. I mean, I've contacted, because I got a chance to interview him over a year ago for the film The Long Way, which you've seen, which is the Western. But he works through his manager. You know, I contacted his manager. I think for obvious reasons, he didn't do a lot of interviews with this because they didn't expose anything about this character at all, the looks or whatever in the marketing of this film. It's just brilliantly executed on all levels. And I'm not only talking about what we see on the screen, but what we also the anticipation buildup and everything, not only with the marketing, as AJ can attest to, but just the way in the film how he is introduced, and then it is such of an ominous beginning that it was kind of like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. You can feel that guy's presence throughout the entire film, even though in reality the guy's only on screen for about 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody realized that or not. He won Best Actor for playing Hannibal Lecter, but his on-screen time was 30 minutes out of 2 hours or something?
Yeah. Yep.
That is called presence. That is called, you know, so it has to do with the filmmaker. It has to do with the writing, everything else like that. But yeah, Nicolas Cage has that sort of presence because you meet him, you meet the half of face, the bottom half of his face, and he starts doing that. I mean, it is batshit crazy. And as a moviegoer, thank you, because I love originality. Give me originality. And I think Nicolas Cage can pretty much guarantee this one. 9 out of 10 on the Lamameter. It's really a brilliant movie. It really is. It bloody as all get out. I mean, expect to see that sort of stuff, but it's not about the blood and guts and gore. It's about the performances in this and how unnerving this SOB is, because he's unnerving.
So, Tim, is it showing at the Cooper Theater?
Yeah, the Cooper. Honestly, I only caught one film, because you got to remember, I'm a country boy. It's a big deal to get into Buffalo to see a movie, my God.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I only did catch one movie at the Cooper, but wow, what an amazing venue that was. Yeah, in my entire life, yeah.
And it was built on where the New York Giants were going to move to, Candlestick Park. That's where the Cooper Theater was built, right on that piece of land, because then they decided to go to San Francisco instead of come here.
Now, how far away? Okay, so the West End, is that the same area then?
Yep, absolutely it is.
Okay, which is a great venue too. I mean, and I do.
Not anymore.
What do you mean? The West End?
They shut down the West End theaters. Are all
no. They're, Mike Bryant texted me about that. It is rebranding. It is not shut down. It was only shut down for a week.
They reported that it was never going to open again.
Really? Because Marcus Theater took it over.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Marcus Theaters took it over, and they were shutting it down to do some updates in the theater for a week. So check it out. It should be open.
The TV news reported it was never going to open again.
No, yeah, I know. I read about it, and you can check on it. I mean, maybe there's more reservations than they anticipated or whatever. But from my understanding, it was going to be shut down a week. They were going to rebrand the inside, with Marcus stuff, and then they were going to update some stuff. And I hope it does open, because the lovely Mrs. Lamameter and I went to see something there. I can't remember. Screened something recently, and I ordered a pizza there. My God, was that a good pizza? Yeah. And it was only the first time, so please don't tell me you're shutting down now. No. Check it out. Marcus should be there at the West End.
Because, Tevin, you heard it too.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because I was a Showplace icon. Like, I had the app, was like a member, and they sent out a big thing. So maybe it was just them saying that, hey, we're not going to be running it anymore, and it's moving over to Marcus Theaters, maybe. But yeah, from what I heard, I was under the impression that it was closed and goodbye movie theater.
They literally said on television it's not going to reopen. They absolutely said that on television.
Okay, so this is from July 1st. Oh, and this is from Eyewitness News as well. Marcus Theaters who operate former Showplace icon.
Well, there you go. I mean,
I will send you guys that link. Yeah, so don't fear. There we go. I just put it in the chat. Yeah,
right,
and so you can go there. You can go there. Yeah. And because it's a great venue. I mean, they got that. It's not a monster. They all have their different names for their big screens.
Yeah.
What this one is, but they have a huge ass screen.
It's a great one.
Yeah. So as far as I know, yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, indeed. I'm sorry I couldn't make it Tuesday. I was watching a film, and another great horror movie coming up with cinematographer. Yes, cinematographer Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh, pardon me. I was just talking about him yesterday.
Oh, really? Yeah, I talked with him on Tuesday, and sorry I couldn't make it. But yeah, he's a cinematographer for this upcoming horror film, Strange Darling, that's coming out. And not only is the guy a talented actor, he's a talented cinematographer. I can tell you that right now.
And he's a Scientologist. So what more do you need?
We didn't talk about that, but you know what we did talk about? You know what we did talk about, Tom, and you're going to love this. And I'll talk more about it when we get closer to the release, because the movie's not out until the third week of August. We talked about him playing Joe Colombo in The Offer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Talked a lot about that. That was great, man. That
He's
was
a terrific actor. Really good actor.
Yeah, he put on weight for that. He said he ate a jar of peanut butter a day to Beef up is Joe Colombo. So I'm cutting into Kristen's time. Thanks a lot, guys. We will talk with you next Tuesday, Tommy and the fellas. AJ, want the review of Long Legs next week, baby.
I got you.
Okay.
Thanks, Timmy. Tim Lammer is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryan, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryan at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. We'll be right back in a couple of seconds. KB2 up next. I wanted to take a second or two to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. Mike Bilski, I just talked to him yesterday. One of the most helpful bankers. Well, I mean, he's a great friend, don't get me wrong. But he's a very, very helpful. Whenever I run into a problem, somebody be a pain in the ass or whatever, I talk to Bilski. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now, as a matter of fact. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, where you know your banker and they know you. Well, a lot has changed since 1998. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not changed. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I've been tracking the weather in Minnesota for a long time. I'm 5 Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Ken Barlow. And in the morning, I've got to be right because my forecast affects your family's entire day. And in the evening, you can count on my friend, Ren.
That's right, Ken. I'm 5 Eyewitness News evening meteorologist Ren Claire. And as a Minnesotan, I know our weather can be tricky. Throughout the day and into the night, I've got you covered with an accurate forecast to help keep your family safe and ready for any weather.
And don't forget, no matter how things change or what time of day, you'll always get our forecast first at the start of every newscast on 5 Eyewitness News. Start your day with me, Ken Barlow.
And wrap up your day with me, Ren Claire.
Because 5 Eyewitness News is always tracking our weather. So you're always alerted first. It's why 5 Eyewitness News is Minnesota's weather authority.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You are indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So we were just talking to Tim. He's all fired up about this movie, Long Legs. That's what it's called, Long Legs?
Correct. Yep, Long Legs.
He's very fired up about it. It's like a horror film of some kind of, it's...
yeah, it sounds like this generation's Silence of the Lambs kind of.
Oh, really?
Not a remake of it, but that kind of impact on the horror industry.
That's a pretty big statement to make because Silence of the Lambs was huge at the time and an Oscar winner.
Clarice. I'll never forget Clarice.
Chianti and fava beans.
Yeah, fava beans. And then he went like, ugh. Yeah.
I know. Anthony Hopkins was so good in that role and so creepy. And Jodie Foster, I mean, the two of them, if you go back and watch their scenes, that's a masterclass in acting. The two of them were incredible.
Yep, no doubt about it. They were absolutely wonderful. So the most horror films now come out in the summertime when people are not going to school, so they have time to go to movies like this.
Horror film is a year-round genre now because they are cheap to make. Remember, they're not going to have those huge budgets. They usually run 89 minutes. That's kind of like the key. You really want to get it to 89 minutes, so they're fast. And oftentimes, if you're hitting the right market, you don't have to go heavy on the writing. If you just hit the right market with the right storyline, you're going to make your budget back. So the studios really like doing horror films.
Well, we got some good news because I know Tevin and I had heard that they were going to close down the theaters just down the block from where we are right now. What is there, 11 theaters there?
Yeah, it's 11 or 12, I think.
11 or 12 theaters. They were talking about, and I heard on the news they were going to close down and never reopen. Well, now we found out that wasn't true. They were just...
plans could have changed, though, because oftentimes they think that they don't have a deal and then there's a deal. So
okay.
It could have been at the moment the TV station had the most up-to-date news, and then because I know Tim included the link to the new news, the fact that they are going to reopen. So that's exciting for you guys.
Which is really good. I love going to the movie theater. I know it's a different generation. I understand that, no question. But to go see a movie in a movie theater, to me, is still a real treat.
What is the last movie you saw in the movie theater?
Gone with the Wind.
In 1939, when you weren't alive.
I wasn't even alive yet, but I was. I don't even know, because when I go to the movie theater, it just, where we stay in Florida, they tore that theater down. It was a palace too. I mean, this building was really expensive, but they tore it down because they're going to build another skyscraper.
Yeah, LA is really reinvesting in like single standing theaters versus multiplexes. And I think that's going to be the way to go. We're seeing a lot of our older historic Art Deco, beautiful old theaters being restored, and a lot of celebrities actually investing in saving them. And I don't think we're going to see the same, like, you don't necessarily have to go now to like, let's go to the multiplex where there's 18 films showing and stadium seating. It really is either that luxury seating or, it's an experience versus just being like, okay, every weekend I go to the movies.
Right. But I'm just really, really happy because a couple of them did close in this area. No question about that. The one out in Maple Grove is closed forever, isn't it? I think that one's never going to reopen again, but that was a 12-plex too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the pandemic really sped up, I would say, what was going to happen anyway. We were going to lose a lot of these multiplexes, but I think it sped it up probably by about a decade, which is sad.
Kind of seems like it. You got to go to the movie. Going out to movie and dinner and a movie was a very big thing when I was a young man.
That was date night.
It was date night.
Date night in high school. But I think, maybe even just if Hollywood can get people to go out once a quarter to a movie, there are going to be people that go much more frequently. But I think getting the people who have been reluctant to go back to theaters and things like that, if they can like figure out that experience and really cater toward the customer and making sure, temperature's right, the screen and sound are good, people aren't disruptive. And we had that in Los Angeles. We had the ArcLight, and they have not reopened. They went bankrupt during the pandemic, unfortunately. And I will tell you, that was an experience that I would go to the movies anytime. I would pay for movies. As an entertainment reporter, obviously I get them free quite a bit, but I'd be like, no, let's go to the ArcLight. They had a restaurant in the lobby. Oftentimes people would go to dinner first and then they would go right into the theater. They need that experience back.
I'm telling you, well, there's the Imagine theaters, they're called here, right in what is that still St. Louis Park or
the Imagine Theater? I'm not sure.
I don't even know what town is it, but it's like a 10, 12-plex, something like that. But right across the parking lot, sharing the same parking lot, is a great Chinese theater, Chinese restaurant called the Tea House. And I can't tell you how many times I went and ate dinner at the Tea House, walked across the parking lot, went to the Imagine Theater. It's just a great experience.
Now, if I were the Tea House, I'd be teaming up with the movie theater and saying, let's offer some type of deal. That's what I think, marketing wise.
Yeah. I mean,
even if you just do it for a limited time or say we only do it once a quarter, this is fun, I think people would go for it.
I think you're absolutely right, because it's a great entertainment. Now the theater. I would think the last thing I went saw, because I was thinking about this. You asked me what the last thing I saw in a theater. Most of them lately have been children's movies because we have 3 grandchildren now, so. We take them to the movies quite a bit.
Did you see Inside Out 2 with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing. That's exactly the kind of thing I've been seeing lately.
Yeah. That's good though. Cause that's a fun experience to go to the movies with your grandkids, and they'll always have that memory too, which is fun.
I'll tell you another thing the theater should do. And I hope I know some of them already do this. If you get on your phone, you got to go get out of the theater. Some of these people, Andy and I purchased a couple of, the seats that move along with the movie, like, that type of deal. Andy and I spent extra money. These people, young women, they were, did not buy the seats. They came and sat at them anyway. And the entire movie, they were on their phones.
Did you say something?
Me? Speak out? Who would ever?
I would. I'd be like, hey, either move away or knock it off.
I said, why do you need to be on your phone during the entire movie? I don't understand that at all.
Because everyone has the attention span of a gnat.
That's
not
very
even
true.
A gnat,
That's
and it's why Hollywood is catering toward second screen viewing. It is not a joke. People are on their phones, on TikTok, while a TV show runs in the background on a larger screen. And second screen viewing is insane that actually exists. And that's actually like a marketing thing at this point.
There's just so many great combos of the, nice Italian restaurant or the Chinese restaurant or French food or whatever, right across the parking lot from movie theaters. That is just wonderful.
It's a marketing area that is left untapped. Like people need to team up together, these entertainment experiences, and try and figure it out. And probably a big chain probably won't do it with their local restaurant. But if there's an independent chain, I bet you they would team up with other small business owners to make something fun and do something for the community, because I think that's what a lot of people are lacking, is just community.
Yep. Oh, yeah. There's no community anymore. It's fun. It's so funny. I came in this building this morning, and as I was walking up there, the glass doors, I see there's a woman behind me by about 10 feet. So I opened the door and held it for her, and she was confused why I was doing that. And she went, "Nobody does that anymore." I was confused.
She's like, chivalry is dead, but now it's not.
They are not polite. People are not polite at all anymore, and it really bothers me.
What bugs me? This is so stupid, but sometimes I'll go out of my way and send someone like a DM, like, "You look incredible," or "I'm so proud of you," blah, 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 just to give them a compliment. And then they just go heart with a like. I was like, you can't even type out, "Thank you."
I know. Thank you. How about that?
That bugs me, because I'm like, I didn't have to do that. And I don't need the acknowledgement. I just find that weird, just to not say, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate that." Because I always do. I guess because I think when someone goes out of their way to pay me a compliment or watch a video or watch an interview or read something that I wrote, thank you, because we're all super busy, and I know everyone's second screening.
And I wish they'd stop, because it lights up the whole auditorium, for God's sake.
Yeah. We don't see that much in LA. That's the one good thing, because we're in an entertainment town. So we luck out with that.
Yeah. They talk at full volume too. "Oh, really? You want me to come over for dinner?" It's like, why are you talking so loud? Are people that stupid?
People are just really annoying, I think,
really
is what it is.
No doubt about it.
So annoying. You're like, come on, people.
All right. Any good news? Other than horrible people in theater?
I have to tell this story because it's so funny. I watched a little bit of the feed for the Alec Baldwin trial.
Oh, God.
In the middle of the trial, while one of the lawyers is talking, he gets up and leaves the courtroom. So
really,
he just got up and left. He walked right out. And so his lawyer goes up. They do a sidebar, with the judge, and they're like, "Hey, he had to go to the restroom, blah, blah, blah." He comes back in a few minutes later with a cup of coffee in his hands. I'm like, dude, you are up against involuntary manslaughter charges. You can't, this is not your living room. You can't just get up and go. They will give you a legitimate bathroom break. That is understandable, but you can't walk back in with coffee. This is Starbucks.
Well, maybe the toilet now has a coffee shop.
There's a barista in the middle of the men's room.
Exactly.
Would you like extra foam on that? Extra hot?
Yeah.
Oat milk?
Extra foam in the toilet? I don't want to hear about that. Oh, God. All right.
That was unintentional.
That's what you say. You planned out for weeks.
Oh, yes. I've been planning for Alec Baldwin to leave the courtroom, go into the bathroom, in air quotes, and then come back with a cup of coffee.
Does he think he's that important? Is that why he would do something like that?
That to me just says how far in a bubble you are, because he's been in that bubble for so long that he has no clue that you just can't get up oh, I need a snack. Let me go to my kitchen.
Right. And when you're on trial, like, and you're trying to, influence a jury, looking like you don't care enough about what's going on and about the life that was lost to just get up and like, you know what? I think I need a coffee, bathroom break, and come back. Not great.
Tevin, that's totally it. It's the message it sends to Helena Hutchins' family too. That's like, how seriously are you taking this? They will never have their wife, their mother, their sister, their friend back. And there's a lot of other issues of onset safety and everything else. But at the end of the day, a life was lost.
But I do know that if I ever want to befriend a Spanish woman, I can call Alec Baldwin's wife.
Hilaria.
Hey, call me Tomas.
How do you call that? Cucumber? You know that was a cucumber in Boston. Come on.
I hate that so much when she does that. What you call a cucumber? Settle down.
It's like cucumber. It was a cucumber in Boston. I grew up the same time you did. I forgot to. She went to NYU like I did. So I'm sure we crossed paths at some point.
Well, you guys are probably roommates. You don't even remember.
Oh my gosh. No. I tried not to have roommates as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a good
college.
thing.
I was not a roommate. A shared space person. That is not me.
I understand.
My husband's lucky to live with me.
Oh God, here we go.
No, I'm kidding. But
he would probably say the same thing.
He probably would. No, he's someone that likes to come in the door and be like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, quiet time. Give me a minute. I just need a minute to come in the door and then we can talk. I need to decompress first.
You and Catherine are the same person. Honest to God. You do a lot of the same stuff.
Yep.
Oh,
that's why it's KB1 and KB2.
I got to put up with two of you now. That's just wonderful.
It is a tragedy.
It's a tragedy. There's no question. All right. Any closing suggestions for the weekend?
I think everyone should go and watch The Shining in honor of Shelley Duvall, who passed away yesterday at the age of 75. Her performance is incredible. They shot for 56 weeks with Stanley Kubrick. He was known for his very long, drawn-out shoots. And that heightened trauma you see her in literally was her real-life trauma, too, because Stanley Kubrick was very difficult to work with as a director and really kept you in kind of that, heightened state where all your adrenals are like, oh, So if you haven't seen it or haven't watched it in a long time, I think it's worth a watch. It holds up very well.
I thought she was so good. Didn't she play Olive Oil?
That movie tanked at the box office, but I will tell you, Robin Williams as Popeye and Shelley Duvall as Olive Oil is an absolute delight. And I think we just missed it. They were so well cast. I don't know where you could find it. Maybe it's somewhere out there on streaming, but it was it's definitely a fun movie.
I'll call Hilaria. Maybe she has it.
She's gonna come on over with her fresh, what do you call them?
Cucumber
from her garden in the Hamptons.
Tomatoes. And that and that Popeye movie is actually on Pluto TV for anybody.
Oh, that means it's free. We love free.
There you go. Love free. All right, you're free until Monday morning. How about that, sister?
Yeah, I'll be back in LA. I won't have this beautiful background.
That's two pictures. I've seen it before.
It's my cousin's. It actually doesn't look like a real background. I always feel like it looks like I have a green screen behind me, but those are their.
Oh, that's true.
But that's actually there. If I move, there's a guitar in the background.
Oh, there, I can see it. Yep, I can see the guitar.
This is their living room. And the nice natural light, which I love.
Have you been drinking?
No, I am somewhat. I have not drank all week. Because all of my friends who live in Chicago, well, you guys know I don't drink normally, but it's funny because I was like, oh, I'm in Chicago this week and I'm going out to dinner and meeting friends. Literally all my friends are sober. All of them.
See, look at that.
Yeah. So I was like, I am staying out late. That's probably the only thing. I'm lacking sleep, but zero alcohol in Chicago.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, it shows that there's a balance in the universe because all my friends drink. So there you go.
Yeah, all my friends have quit, which is fine because I'm like,
I don't
really drink anyway. So I've been drinking. I'll be like, oh, it's my excuse to have a Coca-Cola at dinner, which is really bad.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk to you Monday, sister.
See you on Monday from LA.
About Kristen Burt, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. That's going to do it for this week. The family show is up in about 10 minutes.